something I wanted to tie back to, because when we brought up for that second with you being a business music instructor, you had mentioned that one of the biggest key points that you teach your students is the network and the relationship, because that's something that I've been extremely at myself. How do I find the right network of people? Like
Yeah.
there's all kinds of yes men, so you don't want those kind of people. You want the
Right.
people that's going to be absolutely honest, but they have your back. They have that
Yeah.
loyalty and they have that connection that takes you even further.
Yeah.
So what I really want to like pick your brain on that is like for people who are trying to come up, that are trying to like get their foot into the door, that are
Mhm.
still struggling in that aspect of building connections, what kind of key things do you focus on with that?
Oh, it's I'm pretty introverted. I like to say I'm introverted, but I've had a lot of extroverted jobs, so I've done well in being a lot more comfortable with my extrovertness.
Yeah.
Still, it's still there. Um, I think you just have to, for me, it was like when I first moved out here, because I moved from San Diego. I was born and raised in San Diego, and I moved out here in 2000. So when I moved out here to start working at Power 92.3, um, like I really only knew one person, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the boss who hired me. So for me, it was all right. Well, where are the hip hop clubs? Where are the venues that are bringing concerts? Because in San Diego, we were plugged in. Like
Mm-hmm.
we had our crew. We were tight. We had people. We were always texting each other like, "Hey, are you gonna go to this show? Are you going to that show?" So it was already the network was really strong in San Diego. Like I didn't have any of that here in Arizona. Like so, it was like coworkers from the radio station developing relationships with coworkers at the radio station, but then like just going to events and showing up, going to the rap battles, going to the hip hop nights, going to the blunt club every Thursday night, going to the places, and then the more you show your face, the more in line you'll start to meet. You start to meet people, and you
Mm-hmm.
start to find your tribe, and that's what it is really. Or organically, it's just trying to find your tribe,
Yeah.
um, but a lot of people fail to go and support the things that are in their wheelhouse. Like I wouldn't have as a dope network like that if I didn't go to the Blunt Club every week,
Right.
or I didn't go to the hip hop battles when they were at O'Malley's. I remember O'Malley's hip hop battles. Like going to those spots, being out at the clubs, and it helped that we were out at clubs like Jackson's on Third and the Buzz and stuff like that. But actually being out and going to all of the hip hop shows, finding out, all right, well, who does the hip hop shows? All right, it's TMC Presents. All right, the TMC. So, all right, well, who's TMC? Oh, it's Ty. All right, well, let's meet Ty. Like, all right, I work at the radio station. Like, all right, I met Ty. Like these are go to his events, like, and not ask to be on guest lists, pay like every other person, go
Mm-hmm.
to the shows and support the shows. And then, that's I met Ty at one of his shows, and like I didn't there's no guest list. I didn't do any of that. I paid
Mm-hmm.
like normal. And then, uh when he realized, and through talking, like, I became a part of Friday Night Flavors, and then, it was like, oh, all right, well, you're on the radio now too, and you're playing underground hip hop with the shows that we're bringing. Like, all right, then became more of a solid connection after that. But it was more of just going out and finding and being in places where I wanted to be. And that's
Right.
what you have to do. And a lot of people don't. They hide behind their phones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the way to network. You have to actually, if you're a rapper and you're not going to rap events, then what are you doing? You know,
Yeah. And so
you
you'd
have to.
say, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you have to go. You have to. I know we're slowly going outside. Things are slowly coming back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you have to be outside. You have to. It's the only way that you're going to um, interact with people, start having people notice, all right, well, this guy's coming this week, or I wonder what he's doing, or does he rap, or you have to be outside. And I did a lot of that. I did a lot of that my first year when I moved out here. I was like at everything. I was like everything. And there's a lot of people that could tell you like I was at everything. I was going anything hip hop related that was dope. I was there just because that's where I wanted to be. But as a fan of hip hop, like I wanted to see all right, what is Arizona doing that at that time San Diego didn't have a lot of that.
Mhm.
Arizona it did. So it was like, all right, well, let's make sure I'm going to all the hip hop shows. Definitely going to all the hip hop clubs. Let's go try out Scottsdale, see what Scottsdale's about, right?
Mhm.
All of that. Yeah, so that's how I grew the network out here and grew really great relationships and friendships that I still have, 20 plus years later.
Nice. So you say that for people that are just trying to step into this, going outside and going to these places is a big factor, but you also have to go there consistently to actually
Yeah,
establish that relationship. You can't just pop in, be like, oh, hi,
no,
shake hands, and expect immediate deal. You have to keep
no,
going in to get your face familiarized and to get that
yeah,
deal done.
yeah, you have to. You should want to do that anyway. You know, you
Hmm.
should if you're trying to be in the community and part of the community, you have to go where the community's at, right?
Yeah.
So if your community is rapping, then you should be going to all the Respect the Underground events. You should be going to anything that has something rap related involved. You should be there, right?
Hmm.
Locally, you should be there. And There's really no way to shortcut that. Like having social media is cool. Like, and I tell my students, like having social media is cool and being able to DM people, it's cool. That's not networking though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not networking at all. And I think that a lot of people have this conception of like, oh well, I can DM them or I could tweet them or I can add them as Facebook friends or something like that, and that's a connection, and that's a fallacy. That's just adding. That's just another person getting added on your social media, right? You don't really know them like